I've seen some people still confused on what it means to be the publisher of a game versus the developer, so I'm going to do my best to quickly explain what it means to be the publisher of a game. When publishers publish titles, typically it means that they are responsible for shipping the title out to the market. They are basically responsible for the strategy and execution of the go-to-market plan. The go-to-market plan is essentially the plan that they execute to ship this title out to the market. So this encompasses all things marketing, things like sponsorships, trade shows, digital showcases, Steam festivals, social media, paid ads, press, events, and so on. They can be involved in things that do concern the development team, things like localization, QA, platform distribution, physical releases. But typically, especially in the indie space, the publisher isn't actually directly involved with the meat and bones and the creative of the game and just help with shipping the title out to the market. Because what a lot of game studios do is they approach these publishers and they're like, hey, we're developing this cool game, would you be interested in publishing it? And that typically means getting their marketing support as well as maybe some funding. And then the publisher is like, yeah, that looks like a really cool game, we would love to be involved. They give their investment, and then the developers and the publishers both get a piece of the pie once the game starts making some money. This is why on Steam pages you see two separate lines for the developer and publisher, because they are two different entities doing pretty different things and involved in very different parts of the process of shipping a title. Also, I forgot to say that distinction between publisher and developer is important because publishers themselves have their own reputation that could help with the expectations of the game that they're publishing. So if a game was announced to be published by Devolver Digital, for example, there's certain expectations for that game because that publisher has historically published some pretty good games. Now, in a lot of these AAA companies, they do this all in-house, so they are considered self-published companies, so they do all the publishing and development under one company. But that's not to say that they don't outsource the help to execute their go-to-market plan. So they will hire third-party vendors and agencies to do like creator sponsorships, for example. Square Enix, Capcom, Nintendo, they all do this, but they are still considered their own publisher because they are the ones that put together the plans to ship their titles. But these AAA companies also work with a lot of distinct developer teams while just being the publisher. So a good example is like Pocopia, I guess. The developers were Game Freak and Omega Force, but they are being published by Nintendo and Pokemon. I think in that case, it's a lot more of a intertwining collaboration where the publisher is really involved in the creative process, probably because it has to do so much with an IP that they own and they probably just wanted a lot of input. So that's a little bit different from how typically indie games do it. But for the most part, I think the easiest way to think of it is a lot of game studios just want to be concerned with finishing their game and making it good. And they want to be able to work with a publisher to not only fund the game, but also be able to not worry about all the things that it takes to ship a title. So things like marketing and social media.